Hey guys, Puffs here, and today I'm going to be analysing the game Iron Lung and showing you why this game is so damn scary. By the way, this video isn't going to cover the deluxe edition nor the game lore because it's not really necessary to the video. Iron Lung is a game that has you, the player, as a pilot in a submarine called the SM-12 on a moon that is filled with blood as its ocean. I don't really know why it's blood. Oh damn, I'm already getting into the lore and I'm not even 15 seconds in. We have been tasked to take photos of the outside environment at certain locations that are shown to you on a map. The game starts with the front hatch of the sub being closed, as we can see the ship being submerged in the blood ocean, with a voice telling you what's occurring, with it cutting off at the last minute.
You'll lose radio signal. You'll be at cruise depth soon, so refreshing and be careful. You're on your own. Good.
This immediately sets the tone that you are alone in the sub and that there is no one to help you. This isolation is a key factor that makes Iron Lung so scary. I remember playing it for the first time and not even 5 minutes into the game, I was somewhat talking to myself as a ways to keep my sanity, and I was immersed in the game itself. Playing the game is very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, as you're almost stuck in one spot and you can only acquire information by digital form. In FNAF, it's the security cameras. In Iron Lung, it requires taking photos of the outside with a camera. Both of these games prevent you, the player, to personally see what is outside firsthand, and only show it to you on a digital screen. This lack of information in the gameplay creates a lot of anxiety and tension, as you are basically staring at a small control panel for the entirety of the game as you are navigating around the planet. The control panel is your main view of this game, as it operates on an X and Y axis, which allows you to navigate through the planet. There is no need to worry about the Z axis, as it's not even altered in the gameplay. On the left of the panel, it shows your sub and its direction in correlation to north. This is it, your only knowledge of where you are, as you cannot see outside and just have to put trust in the map that hasn't even been fully completed yet. And I'm not trying to sound like a zoomer here, but someone who has not seen a map since the day that Google Maps came out, or COD mini-maps, or even since I graduated school, I was stood looking at this map getting a slight brain hemorrhage whenever I gaslit myself into thinking that I was 100% in the area that was pointed out to me on the map. If you don't understand what I'm just saying, imagine trying to find the hidden treasure on the island. It's the same feeling. But the issue was that I had the same amount of time in both Sea of Thieves and Iron Lung to go to a specific location, but my brain had already been driven with fear of the unknown in Iron Lung, causing me to shit the bed when things didn't go to plan, like I was just wanting to get out of there as soon as I possibly could. The navigation area also has many audio cues which are diegetic to the game. These include when your sonar picks up the fact that you're closer to walls or objects, delivered by a load of beeping noises, which will increase in frequency when your sub gets closer to the items. A bit like a proximity alarm. You might sit and think that beeping is fine, but for the undiscovered locations on the map, it's hell because there's no noise other than the sounds of the small current, similar again to the fan in FNAF. The background audio causes the player to feel isolated and alone, with you being the only one down there. The presence of the walls in tight spaces also make you feel very claustrophobic, similar to seeing people travel through small areas of caves. When piloting through these small areas, it can be similar to games such like Operation, where you have to make sure that you don't hit the walls, because it doesn't matter what speed you are, if you come into contact with any of this, you will die, and game over. Our brains as players are also very stimulated by the audio cues, as our eyes are not really used to pick up any information, similar to how your hearing is heightened when you're in a dark room and cannot see anything. This makes us feel even more reliant on the sounds that the ship gives off. Other noises that go off at certain times are the alarms that are scripted in the game, so you don't really need to worry about them during your second playthrough, but certain things such as the oxygen levels being depleted, which come out of nowhere for first time players, they absolutely kill you, like a stinger effect.
Oxygen notification.
The sudden and foreign noise to you as a player makes you jump. One of the things provided to you in the game is the camera, which is by far the best mechanic. In order to access the camera, you need to go at the back of the sub, where it is dimly lit and much darker than the front, already giving a very off-putting vibe to it, with it seeming very old and dingy like the submarine that you are in. Once you take a picture, suspense kicks in as the photo loads, almost very similar to a fax machine as it prints out a scratchy sound. This included with just you waiting for what's outside the sub creates a massive tension, almost like a jack-in-the-box, as you can see the photo processing as it doesn't all appear at once, and you have to wait for it to be completely loaded. To add to that, the photo looks like it just came out of a 1920s cinema movie, with it being black and white and very hard to see a medium distance, with only the closer objects being clear. This sets our information point to an extremely short radius, as the blood ocean being so large, we can only gather and convey information from our sonar and the camera, which is an extremely small perimeter. This lack of information is felt even greater when you're in open spaces, where you feel like there is more places for something that might attack you. Some of the visual and psychological ways that the game uses to scare the player is the outside surroundings. I know I said that you can't see, but for the points of interest that you are shown on the minimap that is given to you, when you take certain photos of them, you are shown bones and skulls of large creatures that seem similar in size to the submarine that you're in. Many times you can hear that there is something outside the sub. You can go and attempt to take a picture at it, but there's nothing there. This completely changes the playing field, as you went into it feeling alone in this environment, but now you don't really feel the same, and you feel like there's something out there that there's watching you. Your brain also starts going into a havoc of thoughts, as there are dead organisms, and makes you think, what caused these organisms to die? Is there a larger organism? Is it hunting me? With sounds coming from the outside of the sub, making you feel very uneasy and having suspicions of there being something that is following you or stalking you. One of the key visual stimuluses that is shown in this game is the final point of interest that you were supposed to photograph, and you see this. The creature proves your suspicions of there being life on this planet and that you are not alone. When I first saw this, I immediately went straight to the navigation table and waited to see if the creature would come closer to me, and waiting for the sonar to start beeping. With there being no visual sighting when I went back to take another photo, I assumed it had just left, but it was stalking me. Another visual cue that is given to you is by going on your way to the final point of interest and taking a photo, seeing an eye of an organism that is looking directly into the camera. On seeing this, the sub starts to shake and you can hear the creature outside the sub. If you go to take a picture again, there is nothing there. This immediate fear is now 1000% guaranteed that there is more than one form of life out there, which is absolutely petrifying. In my experience when I first saw this, I immediately increased my pace in trying to get out of there as fast as possible. I actually ended up crashing a few times due to the fact that I was so scared and I just didn't want to die, thinking that the creature was going to kill me. The game ends only one way, which is with the oxygen levels very depleted, the sub flooding up with the blood, and the creature that you first saw pushing its way into the sub and killing you and sending you back to the loading screen. With this being just your classic jump scare in horror entertainment, I would still highly recommend the game for people to play, as it's only $8 or so on Steam, and it's even more fun to do with friends with you, because they will tell you what to do as you are screaming and frantically pacing all around. Anyway guys, that's all from me. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I know I'm no Scruffy, because his videos are absolutely amazing, this is what I was kind of trying to do, which was very similar, but see you in the next video. Peace.